In St. Charles, Missouri, the scientists in search of the remains of Jean Baptiste Point DuSable are starting their second week of work. The concrete block has been moved out of the way, and the team is now carving out a 9 by 9 foot square that will cover all 3 of the plots that church records show might contain DuSable's bones. It is tedious work. No one really expects to discover anything of significance, but then suddenly there's a surprise.
Where did this come out? Anybody know? It was laying right here. It's actually a bone.
Human bone?
Well, that's for us to decide now.
It is possible that when DuSable's remains were reburied here, they were simply tossed into an open hole. That might explain the presence of disconnected bones in the upper levels of the grave.
Where did you find that, young lady? That's definitely more bone.
The bones will be identified by an anthropologist who is arriving later in the day. They may not even be human bones, but still, the work now proceeds more cautiously.
I think basically we're going to have to screen the dirt from here on down, which is going to slow the process down, but needless to say, I didn't expect to find a disturbed burial of bones just sort of scattered.
The work is moving more slowly, but there's a new sense of anticipation. For the first time, the researchers feel they actually may be within reach of DuSable and a chance to solve some of the mysteries surrounding his life. But one question the bones will not answer is one of the most puzzling. Why did the founder of Chicago leave? It was 1800. He had a thriving business in a fast-growing town. His future seemed promising. Why did he sell everything and move away? There's no obvious answer, but one intriguing clue may be found in the baptismal record of his granddaughter, Eulalie Pelletier, born in Chicago, but baptized in Spanish-controlled St. Louis.
They didn't take her to Michilimackinac, where a lot of Chicago children apparently were baptized. They took her to Spanish territory, not American territory.
Why? Perhaps DuSable, still loyal to the British, wanted nothing to do with American authority. And so, as plans were made to build Fort Dearborn and turn Chicago into an important American outpost, DuSable packed up and left.
I just don't think he wanted to be an American. And so, basically, he voted with his feet and moved to Spanish territory.
But others believe he just wanted to move to the new frontier.
He was a gentleman who had wanderlust. He was such an entrepreneur. There were other things he wanted to do, and other roads, other things that he wanted to achieve, other worlds to conquer.
When DuSable arrived in St. Charles, Missouri, he found himself in a unique position. An 1811 census counts only 13 free persons of color in the county. And of those 13, Kris Zapalac with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources finds DuSable the most interesting.
And this is one we have a name for. This is one we have a partial story for. And this is one about whom we all want to know more.
That is exactly why the group of scientists and students is waiting eagerly to learn about the bones found in his grave. Nick Herman, a biological anthropologist from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, has made a discouraging determination.
I would think this one is not human. That surface, that type, and that configuration does not occur in the human body in that fashion. So this is definitely not human.
It is speculated that the bones belong to a pig, which died years ago when the cemetery was still farmland. It is disappointing, but not surprising, and the scientists press on, taking another look at the site with the ground-penetrating radar.
I think we're ready when you are.
Okay.
Go.
So far, the GPR results have been ambiguous.
Let's do it again and go a little slower.
But this time, they have a wider area to explore. If the display shows no disturbances in the earth below, the search might be over. But the information gives the team hope.
I'm seeing an anomaly now toward the east side. The last one was on the west side. It's suggesting there might be multiple features down here that we're picking up.
No one can say with certainty what they're seeing.
I clicked in the center.
Yep, and there's an anomaly right there.
Nature usually doesn't go in straight lines or orient itself with human-made things.
For Jihad Muhammad, the positive indications are especially important. In order for him to achieve his goal of creating a likeness of DuSable, the scientists must find DuSable's skull. If they do, Muhammad can use his specialty in forensic facial reconstruction, and from DuSable's skull, he can find DuSable's face.
Photography did not come into existence until 1816. Mr. DuSable passed away, buried here in 1818. So hopefully, if we can get that skull of Mr. DuSable, we will do a reconstruction and possibly come up with an image of his likeness.
It is a fascinating approach to investigating history. And coming up on In Search of DuSable, we see how it can be done.